Welcome to T1 Academy. In this series of our Road to IELTS, a free resource class to help you score a band 9, today's segment deals with the strategies and the tips for you to build your IELTS scores. So why wait? Let's proceed. So strategies and tips for you to build your IELTS scores. The first and the foremost segment, as we've already discussed, is the listening segment. So what can we do to improve our listening scores? The first thing is use the listening examples at the start of the first part of your practice to feel the sound and to ensure the setting and the speakers are working the right way. Remember, for listening, the speakers have to work perfectly well so that when you start speaking, things fall in place. Now, focus only on those questions pertaining to the segment with which you're listening, the tasks. As we've already discussed, there are about 4 segments in your listening task. So when you're reading the questions pertaining to that, when you're listening to the text, to the audio, focus only on the questions pertaining to that particular segment which is being played to you, while you have to listen to the recording until the whole of it comes to an end. Now, the next most important thing is answer questions in the listening test in the order that they are listed in the paper. Just because you got a point of an answer that is question number 10, don't answer it when you are answering the first segment dealing with questions 1 to 4. Alright? Also keep in mind that they often follow the recording's informational hierarchy. So, it goes in the hierarchical order, in the descending order from A to Z. So that is how it always goes. So you don't have to go back into the listening text, and there's no way you can replay it once you start playing the recording. You get some time to transfer your responses. That is 2 minutes in case you're taking the computer-based test and 10 minutes in case you're taking the paper-based test. So while you're transferring your answers from your question paper booklet into the answer sheet, or you're cross-checking if you have answered all the questions, ensure that you double-check your spelling and grammar. Please note that for the IELTS examination, what they're checking is your proficiency at the usage of English as a language. So spelling and grammar are the 2 basic pillars of any language. Thus, when you double check, always ensure that you check your spelling and run a thorough grammar check. Moving on to the reading segment. In the academic reading, start by skimming each text quickly to identify elements like the topic, the style, the initial source, the writer's views, opinions, and the intended audience. Do not try to focus on deciphering the meaning of every word or sentence as you read, because that is immaterial. Remember, all you get is 60 minutes to answer 40 questions, and you have to read 3 lengthy passages which could be 1500 worded each. You don't have time, and it's possible that such passages won't be assessed. Now, there may be an example response for reading assignments. Examine it and decide why it is true if it is true. Okay? Use your own words when answering at least some questions, but note the word limit for each of the questions. So, reading the instructions for every segment is very, very important. The guidelines could also include the word count. They specify 3 words maximum, or don't take more than 1 word. So maintain this by avoiding pointless mentions and unnecessary usage of words in your answers. Now, what is skimming and scanning? This is one major thing that most aspirants do not understand. Well, they do it, and some of them don't do it because they don't know it. Let's understand what are they. Reading strategies known as skimming and scanning are quick eye movements. Usage of quick eye movements to identify keywords and examine the text of a variety of objects. Now, quickly reading is in order to acquire a broad picture of the content. A quick reading in order to get an overview, an idea of the entire content is called skimming. And rapid reading to locate specific data is called scanning. Now, skimming focuses on identifying key elements of the passage such as headings, names, dates, years, etc. In order to avoid having to read a section repeatedly in search of answers, you should try to anticipate the author's point of view as soon as you get in touch with the passage. To understand the entire structure of the passage, you must make the beginning and the near section of the conclusion your primary emphasis points. Now, in order to get the entire structure, to understand the whole process, read the first paragraph and the last 2 paragraphs thoroughly so that you understand where you need to focus or what should be your point of emphasis. Now, what is scanning? Scanning is also one very important reading device, especially when it comes to examinations like the IELTS, where you have to time yourself to respond to the reading portion. Now, this kind of a technique, that is your scanning, enables you to swiftly gather information that you need, and it doesn't require you to read the entire section because you have a 1500 worded 3-passage reading that needs to be done and 40 questions to be answered in about 60 minutes time. Now, this is a fantastic way to comprehend the main ideas of the passage and make your own judgments about the writer's opinion or point of view, and also to make your own judgment whether this particular material or the paragraph that you're reading is going to be useful or not. To improve your comprehension of the information you must find in the passage, it could be anything, you know, the name of the person, the relationship between the two people, a year, a place, a day, a date, etc. You can rapidly discover the right responses by scanning. Therefore, this should be an effective method to improving your reading scores. That is scanning. Now, moving on to the next segment or module of the IELTS examination, that is writing. When you talk about academic writing, you must adhere to the assigned topic at all times. Do not write anything that is not related to the topic that is assigned to you. And never attempt to read through the portions of a text before the test. Don't read anything and don't go with a prejudged mind. All right? Keep prescribed schedules. Task 2 has more possible marks than task 1. All said and done, task 1 is just an interpretation of a diagram, a pie chart or a bar graph. Whereas task 2 is your argument essay, where depending on the language and the word usage and the vocabulary that you make use of, there are more possibilities of you scoring better than task 1. Now, use a variety of words, structure your essay properly, connect your sentences, and demonstrate your ability to discuss concepts and express opinions in task 2. Keep task 1 very, very, very simple. Now, there is no maximum word count for each task. However, you will lose points if you write less than 150 words for task 1 and less than 250 words for task 2. Remember, task 1 is also called your issue essay and task 2 is called your argument essay. Plan your essays in such a time, so well that all you spend for task 1 is 20 minutes and for task 2 is 40 minutes. Moving on to the next segment, that is speaking. First and foremost, avoid trying to deliver never go with a prepared speech to the exam, because how would you judge what are you going to get? You never know what topic you're going to get when you reach there. Until and unless a cue card is shown to you or a topic card is given to you, you will not know what you're going to be asked, to speak on. Now, never address the recording equipment. Instead, you speak to your examiner directly. As I've already told you in the previous sessions, the speaking skill is a face-to-face evaluation. So you sit in front of your examiner and you start talking or speaking. When you're answering the questions, never answer in a yes or no format. Don't give only one-worded answers. Use complete sentences. Try to elaborate your yes or no reasoning when you are trying to answer. Provide more information and try to explain at least one thing in each situation when you are sitting for the conversation, the long run. Keep in mind that your capacity to communicate effectively and not your basic knowledge that is being evaluated. It's not your basic knowledge of English. It is how effectively you communicate the topic, the cue card that is mentioned to you, how effectively you communicate on that, how well you speak. Use a variety of structures and language. Speaking clearly at a reasonable tempo and properly organizing your thoughts and connecting your ideas and opinions matters the most. Most of us, we mess up with the reading section because we get nervous and we don't know, we cannot judge the flow of our thoughts and we are not able to communicate our thoughts, though they are right, to the examiner who's sitting right in front of us. So we tend to speak very, very fast. So it is very important that you maintain your tempo, you maintain your diction and your intonation. Intonation is nothing but the rise and fall of your voice. So you got to maintain your rise and fall of your voice all throughout the 4 minutes that you talk on your given cue card. So how do we talk? How to listen? How to prepare for the reading section and the writing section? For all such details and some more innovative videos, subscribe to Tone Academy. Thank you for watching.